Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? We're moving along. You guys are doing great. And now we're continuing, we're getting on to lesson 1.3. So, yes, getting a little more challenging questions, but using the basic operations of integers, adding and subtracting. So, again, lesson 1.3 is how do you subtract integers. So, we were focusing on adding integers with same signs, going to the left, negative, to the right, positive. So, again, I'm going to put that back to you guys. Negative here, positive here. Okay, we know that going to the left, sloppy arrow, left, and going to the right. So now let's just look at this. I want you guys to think about, because now you guys are getting older, and and if you get a job, you're putting money away, you get paid a certain thing, right? You want to collect money. So think about this, okay? Lesson 1.3 is how do you subtract integers? So what you guys to think about as we go about this lesson is, everyone knows what a credit card is, right? You go, you have to pay off the money, at a certain time when you spend it. That's why a lot of people can get in credit card debt, which right here, balance owed on a credit card is debt. That means that you owe this money to the bank. Okay, it's just not yours to spend and then not pay the bank back. You have to pay the money or their penalties. So balance owed on a credit card is debt, which can be written with negative numbers. So if I had negative 200 on a card, that's what I owe the bank. But it's not always expected you have to pay them back just like that, $200. You can do it in increments, like slowly build up to get to the 200. So you can do it in payments of $25. So you're going to start off in a negative. So yeah, if you are thinking about it, if you owe a balance of negative $200 to the bank or to somebody, or whatever it is, and you pay them $25 increments, that means that you're slowly taking off that negative number because you want to get to at least the zero where you're in the free, you're balanced, you're clear, you owe back your debt. There is no more money that's owed to somebody, to the bank, because you never want to be in the negative or in the debt. You always want to be in the positive to either get money and not worried about something being collected. So there's always different payments depending on what you have and what you need. And this is where we focus on the signs and how we need to solve the problems. So you can see with these equations, there are no parentheses. We'll get to one eventually that can be a little bit challenging, but if you follow the rules. So the same thing here is you're using the same vocabulary over and over again. Integers, opposite, the sign, negatives, positives, where you're starting from and how you continue to grow, and then using that with open-ended questions that you need to write the equation, pull out information, and solve and really think about, depending on how much it is, what you need, because we all know what a credit card is, but debt might be something that you never knew about or what it was. So, you owe somebody something that's debt. You have to pay it back, so which can be written in negative numbers. So let's look at the first problem, okay? And I'll keep going back to to thinking about the money and stuff like that, So the credit card's a little different. If I went to the store and I wanted to buy something for $200 and I didn't have a credit card, you don't have enough cash, you're not buying it at all. You can't do that. But if you have a debit card that has money on it or a credit card, that determines. So if you had a debit card, that means that you're putting money into that account. That means that if you had $200 in that account, you can't exceed that limit if that's what it is. However, if you have a credit card, you have a limit you can put on it. Let's say $5,000, but you have to pay it off over a certain amount of time. So if I went to the store and I bought something for $200, I put it on my credit card, I still have to pay that money back. You can't just, it's not just free money. So you have to think about it in different ways. Cash, a debit card, that's kind of just like cash, but on a card that you're putting in and out, you know, or a credit card that you pay over and over within time, depending on how much you owe. So if I have a negative 7 minus 2, look at the signs that you're given. Okay, yes, it goes back to what we started 1.1 and 1.2 because a lot of the stuff does intertwine and it really does mean the same. But the equations are written different, and that's what you have to think about as you're solving. So if I had a negative 7 minus 2, again, just like we said, what did I always say? You always start on the number that's given to you in the equation. The number that's given to you in this equation is a negative 7. Okay, so usually you had parentheses, and we're not using addition signs anymore for the operation. You can see minus, 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 minus. That's what the focus of this lesson is and what the standard's on. So we have a negative 7 minus 2. If I say the word add, increase, grow, sum, those all mean addition, okay? Now think if I said decrease, take away, minus, subtract. All these different terms are telling you what you need to do and where you need to go, right? So if I said -7, you're not going to say minus. It's -7 minus 2. Now, if I'm corresponding. I started -7 is in the first of the operation, so -7 goes here. What are you taking away from the -7? And I know this is what the common mistake is. A lot of people say, oh, well, 7 minus 2 is 5. Yes, 7 minus 2 is 5. But what's in front of the 7? It's a negative. So it's a -7 minus 2. So again, minus, negative. Which way does it go? It goes to the left. That's what you need to continue to think about. And you'll see the more problems you do, you'll understand how the flow goes and then how it makes sense. So a -7 minus a 2 means that, yes, a -2 means that you're still going which way? You're still going twice to which way? To the left from the original number in the equation, which is a -7. So I'm starting at -7. I'm going left, 1, 2. The final answer should be a -9. Take a look at this and see if that starts to trigger, like maybe, this is only problem 1. Wait till we do a few others and maybe you'll start to see. But you're always following the signs and what they determine where they go. From the first to the operation to the second number and which way you're going. And in this case, you're going to have to use both sides of the number line. But it's going to be different based on where you're starting and the operation. Okay? So the next one you're going to have, which is, let's go here. Let's start at the bottom. -2 minus 5. Okay? So we're going to erase this. We got -2 minus 5. What is the first number in the equation? Yes, it's a -2. Now again, what's next to the 5? It's a -5. There are no parentheses that's telling you to add on to something. It's telling you to take away from the 2. So take away, decrease, minus, all go to the left, down. So from the -2, you're going to the left 5 times. To the left, not to the right, to the left. Look how I'm going now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the final answer should be -7. See a common theme? -7 minus 2 is -9. -5 minus 7 is -2 minus 5 is -7. So if you haven't looked at the trick yet, think about this. What is 7? What is 7 plus 2? 9. Done. But which way are you going? To the left. Add your negative sign. Here we go, another one. What is 2 plus 5? 7. Perfect. But the signs are telling you that you're determining that you're going to the left, so it has to be a -7. Okay? Just different operations, but thinking about what the cause is and where you're going. Okay? So let's just do one right here. Let's just start. Let's do -3 minus 3. Okay? So take a look at -3 minus 3. Everyone's like, oh, 0. No. A 3 minus 3, yes, is 0. What's the sign say? -3. So what's the trick I just told you? Okay? What's 3 plus 3? 6. Which way are the signs? They're both negative, so they're both going which way? Perfect. To the left, -6. So from the 3, 1, 2, 3, you have a -6. Okay? Let's keep going. -7 minus 1. -7 minus 1. What's the trick? What's 7 plus 1? 8. Which signs are going? Negative, just like here. -7 minus 1, you're going to the left, -8. See how it's common, the theme? You're always going to the left. You can use a number line, absolutely. But again, the trick is look at the signs, look at the integers, and you can even use the different methods, depending on what works for you. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Okay? And the second one we'll continue with is, now look at this. These are both what kind of numbers? Look in front of the 8. Is there anything in front of it? No. So the 8 is a positive, right? So let me just go back real quick. -4 minus 3. Negative's in front of it. Again, trick, we start from the -4. We know we're going to the left 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. We get a -7. Or you could do 4 plus 3, which is 7. They're both negative, -7, right? But in this case, You're starting with a positive number, but the operation is still the same. You're still subtracting. But look at the numbers now. 8 minus 11. Well, you know that 8 is smaller than 11, right? So you know, if you're thinking about it, we know that, okay, well, I can't really do 8 minus 11 because the math doesn't work. Now, if it was reversed and had something that 11 minus 8, yeah, we could do that, of course. You know the simple math is, okay? But I don't want to tell the answer yet because I want you to see the difference. So we're going to leave this over here, okay? 8 minus 11, same thing. Where are you starting from? You're starting from the first number in the equation, which is a positive 8. So I'm going here, positive 8. Right? Everyone's with me? Right? So I'm at the positive 8, but what am I doing to it? I'm taking away how many? I'm taking away 11. Look at the number I say. Sorry, let me get back in the video. I'm taking away. Take away means what? Subtract, right? So if I'm taking away 11, subtract, take away, negative, which way? Left, left, left. So I'm going to the left how many times? 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right? So it gives me what? Okay? A negative 3. Perfect. Negative 3. Let's see if you guys can figure out the trick after we do the next one. Because there's always a method to think about what can help you as you do the problems. Next one. Again, you're starting at a positive 8. You're taking away your negative, taking away 11. So you got to go from that positive 8, and you got to take away 11 integers to get to the answer, which is a negative 3. Okay? And the next one is a 10 minus 12. Again, we know that 10 is smaller than the number 12. So in just general math, you can't take that. But if you're finding the integer, absolutely. So I'm starting at a positive 10. Positive 10 is right here. Done. What am I taking away from that 10? I'm taking away 12 integers, right? Taking away, going back. So now I'm going to, how many? 12. From the positive 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is what? 10, sorry, 11, 12. I was looking at the other one. So if I get down there, I get to a negative 2. Perfect. Okay, so take a look. I want to see if anybody can figure out the little trick that you're doing. It's kind of what we had over here. So if we know we're starting at 8 minus 11, we get to a negative 3. But what is 11 minus 8? Yes, it is 3. So you do have an answer. But since the integers are reversed and you're starting with the 8 first minus 11, the answer is still going to be 3. But since the number is smaller than the second one, it has to be a negative. Good. Now look at this one. 10 minus 12 we know is a negative 2. Same concept. What if I reversed it and did 12 minus 10? Well, we know 12 minus 10 is what? Positive 2, 100%. What if I reversed it? I'm getting a 10 minus 12. So, okay, all right, well, we know 12 minus 10 is 2. We got that. But since the numbers are reversed, it means that the number that's smaller than the bigger number means that it's a negative. So it has to be a negative 2. And these are the different concepts that you're applying. So there's a lot to take in and, to get familiar with. But as you think about all the different resources and then adding and subtracting and doing the different things with the number line and then using your head, thinking about the concept, thinking about what makes sense, how it applies to real world problems, then you keep applying that, and that's going to give you the better, and it's going to give you the more confidence to understand what the problem is really asking you. So again, if I took a negative 1 and I'm minusing a 5, okay, I know that I have two operations. They are both negative. If both operations are negative, it means you're going to the left. It's negative. So I'm just looking at this. I'm going from the negative 1 because that's my original number, and I'm going to the left 5 times because this is negative. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get a negative 6. The trick, if you want to help you, just to make sure to backtrack, just like using the problem probing protocol, what is 5 plus 1? Yes, it is 6. But don't forget, you're going to the left because these are negative, so you're still getting the same answer. Okay? Same concept we're here. If I did 2, let's say minus, let's do 8. Okay, again, we know that 2 is smaller than 8, so it's hard. You can't, we have to backtrack. But again, start at the number. We have a positive 2, right? Corresponds. Perfect. What are you taking away from the 2? You're taking away 8. Taking away, subtracting. So 1, 2, I'll go up here just because it's a little sloppy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? We get to what? Happened to be the same answer. -6. But remember, I showed you that trick as well. Not necessarily a trick, it's just a different resource to help you work backwards to understand that, yes, the problem is correct. I did it the right way. Be confident in what you're doing. So what is 8 minus 2? Well, we know 8 minus 2, yes, it is 6. But when we reverse it, we know that the 2 is smaller than 8, so we can do and keep the 6, but we know since the 2 is smaller than 8, the answer has to be a negative. Okay? So again, this is where we're thinking about the different concepts with negatives and positive and how this really comes into play. So you owe a balance on a credit card, debt. I'm sorry, and you owe -$200. Okay, so if I owe the money, that's money that you already spent, but now you owe that to the bank, just like if you're taking a loan out. So, for instance, this summer we put an extension on our backyard and we took a loan out from the bank. So the bank gives us that money, but it's not free. We have to what? We have to pay the money back in increments. Not gonna just pay it back in full depending on the price. So yeah, you're not in the. You have to make the payment. So if we borrow a certain amount, you want to make sure that by in 5 months that when they tell you that you owe that you understand the concept of the money. That okay, so in if I owe the money back in January and September, all right, so I'm gonna pay $200 in September. I'm going to pay another 200 in October and then November. So you know that the balance is working its way out of the negative, the red, getting over to the positive. So the time you get to where you need to from the bank, you pay them back fully and there is no more debt and you worked it out. It's the same concept of thinking about when you want like a video game and stuff. You want to save up money. You want to do chores. You want to get that money. You can't, it just doesn't appear. You have to work towards it. So if you want something, you have to think about how that plays with adding and subtracting and all these other figures. So again, we're going to use these resources. Think about, we went from 1.1 to 1.2 to 1.3. We're going to focus with ops here too. This is the standard that we're going to use as well. And, how this is all going to incorporate because the problems could be a little challenging at times, but you always have the resource of a number line or using different methods and things of that. Using, like I do, you know, I have a paddle. You can use a communicator, a piece of paper, anything you want to draw. Or even if you're outside in the street or anything like that, you can use like sidewalk chalk. Think about all these different resources you have like in front of you. You can make it work. You just have to be patient. You can use like juice boxes. You can use games, cars. You have 10 cars in front of you and you're taking away this much, so you're physically taking them. Like physically doing it can help you see better to understand what you're doing. And again, this is what we'll get into. So keep looking, keep applying, and we'll keep working, and we'll really start to get involved too when we're working together on Google Meets and everything, is the open-ended higher order questions, because I know that could be a challenge to pull out information to really understand. Well, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to work with that and continue. And as you do that, this is where you have to put the operation in and write the equation to say, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Because if you're doing it and you get an answer and you look at it and you question yourself, maybe you didn't pull out the key information. But we'll get to there. We'll work through the process and we'll keep using the different vocab and math talk that's going to help us out throughout the chapters, the modules, and all the lessons. Okay, have a great day. We'll see you next time.